In this video, we're going to take a look at the alignment group up here. It's on the Home tab, and we're in Excel 2016. So we're going to take a look at all of these options here, plus a few more on the dialog box launcher. So let's start off with our basic horizontal alignment. Most of the time with numbers, you want numbers to be right aligned, so we're not going to mess with the numbers, but you may want to change the alignment on text. So we're going to go over here, we're going to select these row labels over here in column A, and right now they are left aligned. That's the default for all text. If you look at the text that's up here, that's all left aligned as well. You can center it horizontally, or you can right align it, and when I've got labels over here describing a bunch of numbers to their right, I like to right align them because it gets the labels a little bit closer to the numbers, so it just makes it a little bit easier for somebody to read. Okay, let's go up here and look at our column headings. There's actually nothing in column G. If I click on column F here, you see that all that text is in column F. It's just flopping over into G because it's too long and there's nothing in G, so we don't have to worry about covering anything up. So let's select these, and again we can do a horizontal center, or we can do a right alignment. And actually I kind of like that one because it puts the labels over the column of numbers. You can also, center alignment doesn't look too bad for stuff like this either. These columns are probably a little wider than they need to be. But I don't really think you'd want left alignment when you've got text for the column headings and you've got numbers underneath. The stuff just doesn't line up very well. So I'm going to go back here to right alignment. Okay, we've also got some options for vertical alignment, and that's only going to make sense if I've got a little more vertical space here. So let's make row 1 a little bit taller. Let's make it a lot taller. And sometimes you may not want to have this all the way down right, sitting on top of the column data. So you can change the vertical alignment. So you can have those move up to the top of the row. You can have them, or top of the cell, move to the middle of the cell, or move to the bottom of the cell, which is the default. You can also rotate them. We've got some options here for rotation. We can angle them this way, and we got a little problem here with stuff overlapping because it's right aligned. If I go here and I change this one to left aligned instead, now they don't overlap. So the word budget had to be inside this line here, and so everything got pushed over and we had some problems with overlapping labels here. Let's go back and check these, or select these again, and we've got some other options. We can go the other way. We can make them vertical if we want to. That's actually, I think, kind of hard to read. We can rotate it up, we can rotate it down, and we can also go to this format cell alignment, and we get this dialog box. In our font video, everything was on the font tab. In this one, everything is going to be on the alignment tab. If you want to, let's drag this off to the side a little bit here. If you want to, you can specify an exact degree value, and you can just drag this little line here from minus 90 down here to plus 90 up here to 0 over here on the horizontal side. Or you can just type a number in here. Unfortunately, it does not do a live preview for you, so you have to pick something here, close the dialog box, and then go take a look to see if it looks the way you want it to look or not. So let's actually try that. Let's click here. That should be a plus 45 on that diamond. Click on OK, and that's what I get. So let's go, and we'll just leave it on 0 degrees. And we've got some choices here for vertical here. You can do that through these buttons right here, so we're not going to worry about that. Wrap text is something that's also up here. We do have shrink to fit, which is not here. If I click on shrink to fit here and then click on OK, you see what happened. Percent of budget got really shrunk down, so the whole thing would fit inside the box here, and I don't think that looks very good, so we're going to go here, we're going to undo that, and then we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at the format cell alignment. And there is an option here to indent, and it looks like it's grayed out now. I think it might be grayed out because I don't have things horizontal If I go back to horizontal here and still can't do it, well, let's see if I can try indenting 5. Okay, now it's working for me, and hit OK. And it indents 5, and I'm not sure what those units are, but it would normally be left aligned. I said indented 5, so it looks like about 5 spaces. And so you can indent it so that they're all indented the same amount from the left edge of the cell, rather than being centered, left aligned, or right aligned. Okay, so they are left aligned if we do that, and then we indent from the left alignment. We've also got an option here called wrap text, and if I click on wrap text, it'll take anything that flops over to the next column, and it will make those words wrap around so that I see all of it instead of having it truncated. If I make this a little bit smaller yet, it'll still, oh, I got a problem here because of that indent. These buttons here also let me undo the indents. So if I decrease the indent, okay, every time I do one, it moves it back a little bit until finally I get back here. So wrap text will let you, when you get to the end of the row, it'll wrap down to the next row, and it'll show all of that in the cell for you if there's room. Now, sometimes you might end up with something that looks like this, and it's just not tall enough. And if it's not tall enough, just go over here and double click, and it'll make the row as tall as it needs to be to accommodate the maximum number of rows in a column heading here. Okay, let's try something else here. Let's go and go to row 1 here, and I'm going to select the entire row. And then I'm going to right click and just right click any place in row 1 or on the row heading over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert a row. And because we had 1 row selected, 1 row got inserted. If we had selected 5 rows, we would have had 5 rows get inserted here. And I left a title off of this in the beginning, so now I want to put a title on. I'm going to put the word budget in here. Okay. Now that's going to be formatted in 12-point Verdana just like everything else is, but I'm going to change that in a minute here. First, though, I'm going to take this and I want it to be centered over all of this stuff down below. So there's a merge and center option here. And most of the time you're going to want merge and center. It takes all the cells you had selected and it merges them into one. It takes whatever was in the first cell and it centers it over those columns. And then after I do that, I've got a bunch of styles up here that are built in, and I like to use these styles. There's a title style here, and if I click on title, it makes the text bigger and it makes it blue, and it changes the font to Cambria. So it does 3 things for me all at once. I've also got some heading styles here. Let's go back and right align those. And then let's go over here. We've got some heading styles. Heading 1, this does do a live preview for you. Heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. So let's try heading 2. Looks pretty good for this stuff. And that makes it blue and bold and Cambria and 13-point and underline. And then let's take these over here. And it looks like I forgot a cell, and that one did not get right aligned because I didn't select it before. Now let's select all of these, and let's go to our styles group. Click on the down arrow, the more button, and underline stuff looks funny if you've got row headings. It looks good for column headings, but not so good for row headings. So let's do heading 4 here. And that's the only one that doesn't have an underline. If that's too small, you can always go up here and you can make it a little bit bigger if you want to. And that pretty much takes care of all of the options here for the alignment group in Excel 2016.